I had this revelation today about something, and so I hope you'll forgive me. I'm going to read this from my journal. But it sort of fits the theme because I'm a she, and I'm saying this right now to you. So we'll leave this on. Okay. All right. Sorry. Thank you. Here we go. All right. I'm operating on, also, the reason that this is thematic also is because the first time I told a story here was 5 years ago, and I told a story about, you were probably all here, I told a story about one of my brothers that we had this fight over a toothbrush. It was my mom's toothbrush, and after she died, I wanted to throw the toothbrush out, and he wanted to keep the toothbrush. So this is kind of part 2 of that story. I'm operating on a new theory about my brother. Yes, I accept that he has depression and anxiety in higher concentrations than most people in America. And I know that he is long suffering from insomnia, possibly brought on by, or at least exacerbated by, temporal lobe epilepsy. But there's always been a piece to his puzzle that didn't fit. For a long time, we called it the David doesn't like change thing, like the toothbrush. My mom would tell stories about how David cried when he and my brother Jimmy got new twin beds, and the bunk beds were sold to a family who came in and took them away. My mom said, he couldn't sleep on the new mattress, he just sobbed for the old one. And after his daughter was born, he would hold on to every tangible kind of memory, videos of her sleeping, every scrap of drawing she ever did. And I'm not a parent, so maybe that's a normal parent thing, but I'm talking like every smiley face on a Post-it note. And when my mom died, he packed up a moving truck full of things from our parents' home, some of which maybe he really wanted, like the nice green chair from the living room, but also anything the rest of us kids didn't want, like boxes of Beanie Babies and ballpoint pens and magnifying glasses and pictures my mom probably got at TJ Maxx, like rules of the house, like not Rembrandt's. So he took all of that back and filled this one full bay in his family's 3-car garage in Colorado with all this junk. And I know the sight of it irked his wife. I can still remember her sighing over it when my husband and I came to visit 6 years later. It was this big eyesore every time you went in the garage, a huge symbol of man unable to move on. At that point, I thought it was just misery stemming from his inability to sleep, hence meet the day, any day rested and recharged, which was making his business impossible to run, which in turn was making it harder to get a few hours of sleep every night. A horrible cycle that I think would drive most people to any doctor, as many as the Mayo Clinic, to fix this. And to be fair, David did go to a psychiatrist and a couple sleep specialists in town, but when that didn't work out, he cursed God and said he was horribly unlucky and that he wished he'd never been born. And see, here is where my new theory comes in. It came to me all in a flash when I was there last week. The root problem that is keeping him from solving his other problems, which now include trying to get through a divorce he doesn't want because his wife finally couldn't take it anymore and moved out almost 2 years ago now. It's the whole reason that he is genuinely surprised when I tell him, okay, yell at him, that continuing to send his wife letters and emails begging her to give him just one more chance after she already told him repeatedly, no, I'm done, it's over, is harassment. I said, it's harassment, David. He genuinely doesn't get it. She actually sent him an email saying, stop, underlined, stop writing me about getting back together, which he's trying to respond to by writing another really good letter, the letter that's going to change her mind. And I'm like, David, you cannot write her again. If you do, you will be moving into a whole new category. She could take out a restraining order. And he says, oh no, she's not mean like that. And I'm like, it's not about being mean, David. It's about you not respecting her clearly stated goals. and needs. Well, this totally threw him. He could not understand the distinction. So you're probably thinking maybe he's a narcissist? Nope. He's really kind, really thoughtful in a lot of ways that people don't even notice. Like he put clean towels in my bathroom for me when I came to visit. So narcissism is not quite it. But yesterday, in my rental car, so this was a couple days ago, in my rental car, I figured it out. We were going to the Social Security office so that we could get him an online access code so he could get a Social Security account online, which you kind of need to file for disability or to do anything with Social Security. You should all have an online Social Security account. They're really big now. He didn't really want to go because he said he was too disabled to apply for disability. Plus, it's, demeaning and demoralizing. But I said, you've paid into the system and you deserve to see if it can help you get through this tough time, and I'm only here for a few days, so we're doing it now or never. So we get in the car, and I've already plugged in the address of the Social Security office into Google Maps. So when I start the engine, the directions come right up on the screen. And this is like a cheap shit little Hyundai Elantra, the cheapest car I could get, but it has Apple CarPlay, which is just amazing. Except that as soon as the Google lady says, in 500 feet, turn left, David says, you don't need that, I know where the place is. And I'm like, I like having it on. I like how it, tells me if I'm going to have to change lanes ahead of time. And he's like, well, I can tell you that. I know the route, I'll tell you where to go. And I'm like, okay, but I like to see the route ahead of time. Well, he gets all upset over this. I can't stand her voice. So I'm like, okay, so I turn it down. Except I cannot seem to turn the Google lady's voice all the way off. I just keep turning it down, and like her voice will not disappear. And she's like, turn right, turn left. And he's like, this is an insult. And I'm like, you're insulted by me liking Google Maps? And he's like, yes, I've lived in this town for 30 years. I don't need some voice on the, thing telling me where to go. It hurts my feelings. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this isn't about you. And he's like, please, Mayor, please, just turn it off. Please, please, turn it off. And I get so mad that I pull the cord out of the thing, and the thing finally stops. And I'm driving, and I'm so angry. And I'm like, can't you even see that this isn't about you? I am not a confident driver. This is about me doing what I need to do to feel comfortable driving. And he goes, well, when you put it like that, I guess I understand. You could plug it back in. But I'm driving now, and I'm just so angry. So I just let him guide me the rest of the way. And to be fair, he does a good job. And we get to the place, and we park and go in. And as I'm sitting across from him in the waiting room, watching him make small talk with all the other people who don't want to be at the Social Security office, I see again what a nice guy he is, but how clueless he is. And I suddenly see the problem. It is so simple. He never grew up. Yes, his hair is turning gray, but he is still a 7-year-old kid inside who has no emotional sense of the wider world around him. It explains everything, from his inability to understand why he can't keep writing letters to his wife, to not being able to throw out the Beanie Babies, to having his feelings hurt by the Google lady. So to get out of this, all he needs to do is figure out what stopped his emotional growth at age 7, and then he can work through it and be fine. And I am about to tell him this. But then this beautiful woman walks into the Social Security office, like black hair and silver earrings, and he notices her, everybody notices her, and I suddenly start trying to figure out how we can start a conversation with her. Because if she's in the Social Security office, she probably too has been beaten down by life enough that she would appreciate what a nice guy my brother is. And he could forget about his soon-to-be ex-wife, and we could just latch onto this person. But she keeps staring at her phone. And then I realized that even if I'm right, which I'm sure I am, hearing that you are an emotional 7-year-old while you're sitting in the Social Security office might not be very helpful. Because growing up is hard enough when you're a kid. How are we supposed to do this when you're our age? Thank you.